So we are back in League Football with Oldham Athletic. Obviously, in League 2, as we have not kicked off yet, we are down the wrong end of the table. Before we've done a huge amount of business, we have done some business. You can see some names there. We are predicted to finish 19th place, which, in all honesty, I'd probably take that because there are some very good teams in League 2. Wigan being one of them. They're obviously the favourites to go up as they've just been relegated from League 1. We've also got a huge sum of money, which I'm going to assume is probably coming in from sort of bonuses and various things like that because we have been promoted to League 2. In fact, we can actually check, can't we? So this season, we have picked up season tickets, £1.4 million from season tickets. That's a lot. That's a huge amount of money. So transfer business, we've got rid of two players. Matthew Hudson is the first one to leave the club. The 25-year-old goalkeeper has signed for Leicester. He has fallen upwards constantly. He's played a total of 17 times. I don't know how this has happened, but he's managed to make his way all the way to Championship side Leicester for £16,750, potentially going up to £20,000. I can only assume he's English, and that's why they've done it. I don't know why they'd want him. Also, Alfie Atherton has left the club, signing for FC United of Manchester. Joining the club then, in order of when we signed them, because the first couple, probably we shouldn't have signed them. Ali Crawford is the first one, signed formerly of Greenock Morton, St Johnstone and Bolton are kind of some of the big teams. He's also played quite a lot for Doncaster by the looks of it. 32 years of age, attacking midfielder, brought in on a free transfer. I'm not convinced this was a good idea because we've got some better players who've turned up later on. Similar situation is Shiloh Remy, 23 years of age, attacking midfielder and winger, joined on a free transfer from Dagenham and Redbridge. Dion Donoghue is next up, 30-year-old Welsh central midfielder and maybe left midfielder as well, which is kind of why we brought him in. Again, signing on a free transfer from Carnarvon might be what they're called. Fraser Blake Tracy is next up, former Swindon defender, once again on a free transfer, centre-back and left-back. Keenan Forson in the centre of midfield, signed from West Ham on a free transfer. I've got high hopes for Forson. Not necessarily convinced he's going to be playing a lot this season, but at 22 years of age, 23 in a couple of months' time, he's still hopefully going to be good enough in a couple of years' time to maybe try and turn him into a better footballer. We might have ourselves a new number one goalkeeper in the shape of Nick Tzanev, might be his name, a New Zealand international signed from AFC Wimbledon, formerly of Sutton, Potters Bar, Lewis, and a bit of Brentford, which he never actually played for them. But a free transfer and a goalkeeper of this quality, I'm pretty happy with this. Aidan Barlow has joined from Eastleigh, my hometown team, Eastleigh, and he's coming on a free transfer, formerly of Man United. He's not great, is he, to be honest? Him and Ali Crawford were kind of the two players I wasn't convinced we needed to bring in. He's come in as a fringe player. He's only 24, so there's still time to develop. Obviously, Ali Crawford is 32, 33. I don't think he's going to get any better, but Barlow might. Greg Sloggett is next up, signed from Cheltenham, formerly of Dundalk, Derry and University College Dublin, the 27-year-old Irish defensive midfielder and central midfielder. I think he's a good player for us. And finally, Eriko Souza, an Angolan international, signed from Boreham Wood and formerly of Grimsby, 29 years of age, 5 caps to his name, can play on either wing, which is why we brought him into the club. Versatility, we obviously have not got Glover again this season, so Souza is going to hopefully kind of fill up the Glover space that we're losing. Obviously, being promoted back into League Football as well means we have two new competitions. The FA Trophy has dropped off our radar because we didn't care for it anyway, but in comes the Carabao Cup and the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, which I will constantly refer to as the Johnson's Paint Trophy, and it also has the image of Papa John's as my image there. So yeah, it's a confusing trophy. I will call it the Johnson's Paint Trophy because I'm a Southampton fan and we won that one when it was called that. Also, being in League Football, we do now have a proper transfer window, so we're going to jump forward to the end of that transfer window and we'll see what additional business we have done. I'm not convinced there's going to be much more because when you look at our finances, we've not got a huge amount to spend and we've still got actually about £9,000 a week that we could spend on wages, which probably shouldn't do, but we might. We had to do it. Andrew Dallas has returned on a permanent deal. Obviously, last season, he was one of our better players. £140,000 he has cost us, which is probably too much money. But for a player who got 25 goals in 45 league appearances, he's already got 4 and an assist in just 2 starts so far. £140,000 could be one of the big stepping stones that we have to get us promoted into League One. He's not the only player to join. We've also brought in Billy Vigar, who has signed from, I'm going to say Arsenal, or maybe Eastbourne Borough, I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it was Arsenal. Yeah, we've brought him in from Arsenal and we've loaned him out to Scunthorpe for the season and we're getting paid for it. So technically, we've already made a profit from Billy. Another player that I brought in I had very, very high hopes for is Willie Kambwala, who is a former Man United and Sochaux central defender. Problem is, didn't get a work permit, so we brought him in on a free. He's getting paid a reasonable amount of money, but we have had to loan him out to Ponferrada, might be their name, in Spain, where he's able to play, which is fine. If he gets game time there, that's not the end of the world. The problem is he would technically be our best centre-back if he had that work permit. So we're going to try and apply for a new work permit, maybe in January, if he can come back from his loan deal then. And because Willie didn't get a work permit, we had to find ourselves another centre-back. And Will Armitage is that man, signed on loan from Southampton. At 19 years of age, he looks pretty good already. I would love to keep him for another few seasons if he's any good, but I don't think he'll actually want to drop down to our league, because I think he's probably a League One, maybe Championship kind of level player by the time he's sort of 21, 22. Something I didn't mention, Harry Vaughan, by the way, is a player who has left us in real life, I believe, and signed for Hull on a permanent deal. We managed to get £700,000 from this. I don't really know how. I'm assuming it's because he played some matches, or there was a sell-on clause or something like that that was triggered. But yeah, Harry Vaughan, we picked up £700,000 of this, which is also why our money is ridiculously high at the moment. I just kind of ignored that one, didn't I? So tactically, for the season, this is what we are going to go with. We're sticking with the Iron Man formation, but we're locking in just 3 players this time. Will Armitage will be our centre-back right in the middle, because I think that is where he is best suited. We play ball-playing defenders either side of a central defender. Armitage is the best central defender. We are going to have Enrico Souza on that right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, it is going to be Dion Donahue, those 2 new players, obviously, were brought in specifically to play on those wings. So that is what we're going to go with. The rest of the team is obviously going to get just picked by the assistant manager. So without further ado then, we're going to jump forward to the 1st of January, where we have our first real proper in-season transfer window for this Oldham Athletic side. We're going to see how well we started the season, and hopefully we are still in the FA Cup. That would be amazing if we were still in the FA Cup. First of all, we are absolutely flying. We are 4th place in the league. We've only lost 6 matches, which is the joint best, along with Fleetwood, Gillingham and Wigan. We have the 2 top goal scorers in the league in the shape of Andrew Dallas. £140,000 seems like an absolute bargain. Alex Reid as well was up there with 14 goals. He is out of contract at the end of the season. Doesn't want to sign a new one, but if things keep going this way, maybe we don't need Alex Reid. Maybe we'll be fine. From a transfer budget perspective for this January transfer window, we've actually got over £500,000 and about £4,000 a week to spend on wages. Not convinced what we're going to do with this money. I don't know whether we should spend it or just keep hold of it for the moment, because that's a lot of cash to spend for a League 2 side. On the 1st of February, we were very sensible. I did not spend much of that money. I spent very little of that money, in fact. Archie Mayer is one of 2 new players to join the club. He's come in as a backup goalkeeper, 23 years of age, 2 under-21 caps for Scotland, formerly of Morecambe. I think he's a good goalkeeper to sit on the subs bench. And when Zanev, I believe that is his name, the New Zealand goalkeeper, goes away on international duty, I'm quite happy with Archie Mayer to come in and fill the gap. Because basically, if our number 1 goalkeeper goes away on international duty, chances are our matches aren't getting postponed, because he's probably the only one going on international duty in League 2. The other player we have brought in is Ted Bishop, formerly of Ipswich and Lincoln. He has cost a small amount of money, £21,500, but I think we've got ourselves a very good central midfielder and maybe right winger. In fact, as an inverted winger on attack on that right-hand side, he's a 3.5-star player, so I think that's a very sensible bit of business to do. We've also sold Joe Nuttall for £5,000 to Forest Green. I don't think he was actually playing for us anymore. He's played a few times. In fact, he's played 9 times and scored 3, but we've sold him for £5,000 because I didn't need him in the squad anymore. He's not very good either. And obviously, a few more matches have been played throughout January. We have been knocked out of the FA Cup in the first round. I didn't check this earlier. We've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup against Sheffield United, and we've been knocked out in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, which is the Johnson's Paint Trophy. Where did we finish? I imagine bottom. We finished 3rd in our group with Wrexham, Liverpool under-21s and Grimsby. And we actually weren't too far off finishing 2nd, so we beat Grimsby. What is this? Wins on penalty. Oh, they don't do draws, do they? And then we lost a game, apparently, as well. Sure. We lost 7-1 against Liverpool under-21s. And a 2-2 draw with Wrexham, which was a loss on penalties. The Bristol Street Motors Trophy's a mess, isn't it? We also got absolutely spanked in the Carabao Cup 3rd round, a 6-3 defeat against Oldham, not ideal. And in the FA Cup 1st round, we lose at home to Cheltenham, again, not ideal. So tactically, this is what we are going to go with. Just 2 players being locked in now. We have taken out, it was Souza on that right-hand side, I believe. Partially we've taken Souza out because he has kind of got a bit of an injury going on. And I can't remember his name on the left-hand side. It was Donahue. And I think Donahue has a serious injury as well. tendonitis. It's not that serious. But yeah, we are not locking in either of those. So let's just remove you. It is going to be Teddy Bishop on that right-hand side. And he's actually going to be pretty good there, I think. And obviously we are sticking with Will Armitage in that defensive role. I would love to bring him in on a permanent deal. I genuinely want to bring him in on a permanent deal, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And obviously in the run into the end of the season, we've still got to keep an eye on Andrew Dallas. He is doing very well at the moment. 25 goals in all competitions, 20 in the league, meaning we are currently sat at third place. We have climbed up slightly, but we are now in the automatic promotion spots. Could we get a double promotion in 2 seasons from the Vanarama National to League 1 in 2 seasons? We could be doing a Wrexham. We have just done a Wrexham. We've finished second. How have we finished second in League 2? We are admittedly 9 points off of Wigan, who are the champions, but we are 2 points clear of Gillingham. Colchester, I believe, must have went up through the playoffs. Yes, they did. So getting out of League 2 is arguably relatively easy because there are 4 teams that go up, 3 of them automatically, and 1 goes up through the playoffs. So 2 promotions in 2 seasons. 5 players that we're going to take a look at there. Nick Zanev is the first one. The 28-year-old New Zealand goalkeeper has kept 12 clean sheets in the league. No doubt he is a big part of us actually getting promoted. 12 clean sheets out of 44. That is 1 in 4 games he's keeping a clean sheet. That's very, very good. Yes, he has conceded 58, but that's fine. Eric Souza as well, obviously a player who kind of got usurped from his position once Ted Bishop joined in January, but he still managed to pick up 16 assists in all competitions, and I think he probably would have just got shifted over to the left-hand side and played on the right when Ted Bishop was probably injured. Fair enough. Aidan Barlow, who we signed from Eastleigh, who I wasn't convinced was going to be particularly useful, he was going to be more of a rotation player, actually has proved me very, very wrong. 10 assists, 15 goals in all competitions, 13 goals in the league from that attacker midfield position. He's been a very good signing on a free transfer. He's only on £1,100 a week, and he's only a fringe player. I think we've done well with that one. Alex Reid as well has had another cracking season, 23 goals, 21 of them in the league. He is out of contract in 1 month. I'm not sure we can even give him a new contract. I don't think he wants to talk to us. No, Alex Reid does not want to talk to us, so he's going to be leaving. And then Andrew Dallas is our top goal scorer with 30 goals, 25 of them in the league. Also gets 8 assists as well. £140,000 and a loan deal from last season. He's got 50 goals in 2 seasons in the league. I think that was very good. That was very good spending by me. Like, in fact, ridiculously good spending by me. So next season, I think we've already got our budgets come through. We've got £620,000 to spend in our transfer budget. We've got nearly £90,000 a week of our wage budget. And we are losing about £13,000 worth of players who are going to be leaving the club. Loan deals and contracts expiring as well. So next season, into League 1... I'm going to say it again, our objective is to survive, which means I expect to see come the end of episode 3 in season 3, we're finishing second place in League 1 and being promoted to the Championship the way we're going.